Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of Becoming a Powerhouse Brand. And today I have Sarah, without the H, Southey, who I met at a local networking community. I don't even know how long ago it was, but Sarah and I just clicked. We're like, I think we're soul sisters in different timelines. So, Sarah, welcome to the show. You are going to come and talk to us all about how we can sort our shit out.
Oh, well, there you go, you see. And we've all got a lot of shit to sort out, or
Yeah,
not, as the case may be.
we have. Could you tell everybody who you are, what you do, and how you got into this space?
So I run a company called the Southey Way, 10 years old this year. It's very exciting. With Jenny Southey, my daughter, and also co-director. And we help people mentally, physically, and emotionally sort their shit out. So I always say, is whatever comes into your head when I say we help you sort your shit out, that's what we help with. So we're not counselors, we're not therapists, we are PTs, we are coaches, we're mentors, we're guides. Essentially, if it stops you thriving in your life, we help you find your way back to happiness, really.
I love that. How did you get into this?
Well, if the study weighs 10 years old, this must be about 20 years ago now. I was on my own journey and not knowing how to sort my own shit out. And I looked for somebody to help me, somebody that was going to listen to me, somebody that wasn't going to force feed me their program or their blueprint or their thing, and try and fix me, but somebody that was literally going to listen to me and help me find my way through what was my black 10 years. So I had huge depression, anxiety, and it was a bit of a journey. I couldn't find anyone. I couldn't find anybody that was independent enough to help me just be me. So I did it all myself, and it was hard, and it was a long road, and there was a lot of fallback, and there was a lot of, deviation, and it took me 8 years to find my way back to me. And it was one person who was my then business coach at the time, and I was whinging about social media. I was a garden designer at the time. I was whinging about social media being really dull and boring. Like, I do not want to post the plant of the day because I don't want to see it. And this coach told me, but you're all over social media. And I was at that point because I'd found my way back to me through exercise and I found a version of me that really sat well in, and I was competing at the time in CrossFit. And I was a real masters, like old person competing in CrossFit, but I loved it. And she said, "You're all over social media." And I said, "Yeah, but that's what I do for me." And she said, and I will never forget it, she said, "Well, why aren't you doing that?" And I realized in that moment that I was now in the position to help other people find their way. And so within 24 hours, I had given my garden design business to a beautiful friend of mine who's also a garden designer. And I'd set up the Southey Way, and the rest is kind of history.
Amazing. And when did your daughter come into play with joining forces with you?
So Jenny, one of the things when they were going through school was, we need to earn some money, mum. And we offered both children like different courses, just to kind of like not avoid going into the being bar staff or waiter staff or, the general money earning opportunities for teenagers. So we said, well, why don't you do a PT course? And Jenny took us up on it. So she did her PT course way early. And she's been covering for me in the Southey Way for a good few years when I go off on my breaks that I absolutely love. Um, and she decided that her journey was going to be in the Southey Way. So she joined, and I said, "Do you want to be employed? Do you want to be part of the company? Because they both come with different like pros and cons." She said, "No, I'm all in."
I love that.
So she joined us January 2025,
Oh my gosh,
and we haven't looked
amazing.
back.
You had a big year last year then.
2025 was a very interesting year because it was huge in terms of Jenny joining the company and um, having this whole new arena open up to us in terms of running a business together. It was also very challenging because I've run the business for like 9 years on my own, being able to do what I want when I want to do it. And then now I've got somebody that I'm like, do you think this is a good idea? So there's a steep learning curve for both of us, but I wouldn't have it any other way. It's the best thing, the best thing. And to be honest, I think she's so talented and super brilliant and old before her time in terms of she's wise and you listen to her and you're like, oh my gosh, that's really good what's just come out of your mouth. And I get to learn a whole new side of her other than, her being my daughter. She's now my business partner and also practicing all the Southey Way things that we do. I mean, how amazing is that?
That is amazing. So you really do blend everything, like whether it is getting you back into fitness and health and just life admin, just basically anything. It really is sort of your head.
Literally anything. And we've got the shed. I am told not to call it a shed, but we call it the Shed of Strength. It was named by the same person I gave my garden design business to because she was one of my clients. And she said, you can't keep calling it the shed. And I'm like, well, you name it then. So she named it the Shed of Strength, which I found brilliant and hilarious both at the same time because not only does it do what it says on the tin, but it also, the initials SOS are just brilliant for us. It stands for Save Our Souls, it stands for Sort Our Shit. It couldn't have been a better name. So much so the book that I wrote last year is called SOS Your Life. And that came from my beautiful client just going, you can't call it a shed. So we work out of the Shed of Strength, but also online we have we call it the virtual shed. So we don't really have an online product. We just do exactly the same thing as we do in the shed, whatever that is, in the virtual shed.
I love that.
And it can be literally anything.
You brought a book out last year.
I did.
Tell us about your book. I was there at the book launch. It's all very fabulous. I'm actually halfway through the book
Oh,
myself.
are
But for
you?
anyone that hasn't actually read, open, heard about it, tell us what the book is about and what we can get from it.
So it's called SOS Your Life, and it's a roadmap to your best life in terms of what do you actually want out of life and how you're going to get it. And there's a lot of stuff out there that tells you how to do life, how to do manifesting all the things that you want to manifest. And I'm a great believer in energy, but I also feel like it starts from inside of us. And I've had writing a book on my vision board, on my brain dump that I did before I started the Southey Way in that 24 hours. What do I want it to look like? I had a book on there, but I didn't know what it looked like. Excuse me, Froggy. And I realized last year that I could write a book that encompassed all the various different ways that we've helped people over the years and not make it prescriptive. So it's literally a journey through life. So if you imagine, it's based on, this is how my brain works, so bear with me. It's based on those old map books that you used to have sat in the back seat of the car. I remember them growing up, like dog-eared. They were about like A2, ginormous things before phones and sat navs even existed. And I remember every time we wanted to go somewhere as a family, we would get this ginormous map out and we would go, right, where do we want to go? And how are we going to get there? Do we want a country road? Do we want a fastest route? Are we going to take a long time getting there? Are we going to enjoy the journey? Are we going to literally head straight for, the end zone? And I thought, this is brilliant metaphor for life. So I created a book where A is when you're born and Z is when you die. And pretty much you don't have much choice over either of those things. But what we do have is this incredible choice with all the other letters of the alphabet. And so I thought, wouldn't it be awesome if we created a book where people could just pick it up and go, all right, well, I'm feeling this at the minute. And you could go to a chapter that would help you do that. Somebody asked me whether it was any good for neurodivergent people. And I'm considering it's written by somebody that's extremely neurospicy, probably, but I didn't design it like that. I designed it so you could go on the journey from where you start to where you want to go and read it cover to cover and do the exercises as you go through. Or you could read it cover to cover, not do any of the exercises and learn a shit ton about me and how I've worked my way through life and go, well, we'll do the exercises later. Or you could literally pick it up and go, I'm feeling lucky, open a chapter and see where it leads you.
Yeah.
So it's there to be used however people want to use it. But I am so glad it's out in the world because it'll help someone.
Yeah, I love that you can write in it. I love a book that you can actually write in, do doodles and stuff. And it's just a really good book. I will put the link in the show notes below for anyone that wants to grab a copy. Sarah, what is next for you with the Southey Way? What are you
What
working
is
on at the
next? Oh
moment?
my goodness. Well, um, oh, that's a really interesting question. I'm not a planner. I kind of like to. So there's an exercise in the book called the brain dump mind map. And that's kind of how I run my life. I like dump everything out of my brain onto a ginormous piece of paper and go, "Ooh, what do I fancy now?" And I'm still running my life from that mind map that I used 10 years ago to set up the Southey Way. So what is next? Next is more speaking, more getting out there, more. I love people. People are just so interesting. And my purpose is to leave everybody happier than when I found them.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And some people that means just getting out of their space really quickly because, I don't appeal to everybody and that's okay. But other times it's literally telling a story and seeing on somebody's face the change that it makes in their life. And that's what I want. So those elements are what I want to take through. Our next one we're exploring is a duo speaking gig
Oh,
where you get Jenny and me up on the stage because I really feel that I've got a certain audience that I appeal to, and Jenny's got a certain audience that she appeals to. It doesn't seem to be age specific, but it does seem to be very personality led. So I think, and there's not a lot of people doing it, which I also think is just brilliant. If Jenny and I got up on a stage to to do this, whatever this is that we do, how amazing would that be? What impact would that have on
yeah.
people's lives? You see a family up on the stage, you see a business up on the stage, you see two independent, totally different people, but with the same ethos in life, i.e.,
Mhm.
we only have one. Let's really live it.
I
I know
love
this
that.
is right up your street.
I love that. I love all that. And I actually I did a podcast recording yesterday with one of my good friends, and she talked about, she works a lot with women's empowerment, but she's been doing a lot of work with younger girls. And one of the questions I asked her was, what kind of problems, what blocks do you see in the younger girls compared to the older women? And she said they're exactly the same.
They are.
So no matter what stage you're at in life, there's always those same blocks that are holding us back from achieving our goals. So the fact that you can both be up there on a stage appealing to the masses essentially, I love that. I'm so here for it.
Well, we've got Jenny brings a really interesting, it's something that I've wanted to do, but Jenny's super passionate about this because girls growing up right now do not have role models that look like normal people on the Insta, on the social medias. They don't have role models that go, do you know what? It's okay to skip something. It's okay to do this. It's okay to not put makeup on in a day. It's okay to not do your hair. It's okay to sweat. And Jenny's really passionate about taking that forwards and getting into schools and helping girls in particular realize that their bodies are amazing and not
Mm,
just for looking at.
yeah,
They
yeah.
are,
It's
they will
okay to be
carry you,
normal.
yeah, and they will carry you through your life and they will give you what you give them. So the more we respect our body, minds, and souls, but particularly for teenage girls, the emphasis is so much on doing the right thing, looking the right part. And yet, imagine how empowering it would be when they realized how friggin' strong they are
Mm,
and what they are capable of doing when they literally dial into that strength that they've got inside and
yeah.
don't give it away to everybody else.
Yeah, so true. And it's such important work. Like you say, we're just being bombarded, particularly younger girls, where they're on TikTok, Instagram, they're on all these things where everybody's got the perfect smile, everyone has the perfect face, and feeling like they need to change who they are to fit in. And actually we can embrace who we are, can't we? With all our
Exactly.
quirks and our weirdness.
I mean, don't even get me started on the menopause marketing train that is going on at the minute. If I could personally take control of anything, it would be that. To me, do you mind if I just go on a menopause rant?
Go for it, go for it.
Right now. Um, so I went into surgical menopause because I had a full hysterectomy, I had everything out, and my doctor, male, said, "Oh, just so that you know, you will go into menopause after this." And I'm like, oh, okay, I know quite a lot about in my head, I know quite a lot about menopause, doing what I do. I'm all good with that. Nobody told me what surgical menopause was going to be like. And literally within 24 hours, I was raging, pretty much suicidal. My skin was falling off my body. I mean, it was just devastating because nobody had told me and nobody had shown me how you can set yourself up for any of these things. However, having said that, I truly believe that perimenopause and menopause, although it has its downsides, is the most empowering and most liberating experience that we as women can go through because it's our we don't give a shit era.
Yeah.
And, literally all our hormones are changing, our body is changing, the way that we are seen is totally up to us. Totally up to us because we can take control of all of that. And it's the best. It's the absolute best. And I think there's not enough of that out there. You don't
Yeah.
need all the supplements, you don't need all the things. What we've got inside us. And that is the power to not give two shits what anybody else says.
I
And
love that.
it's
I
so
feel like
liberating.
I'm tiptoeing into this era now. I literally a 10:40 last week, and I don't know what happened, but I swear overnight, like I was like something just clicked to me. I was like, I
Yeah,
just literally don't give a shit anymore. I'm just
yeah.
just gonna live like my best life and do what I want to do. Like if I don't want to do something, I'm not gonna do it. It's like, yeah,
Yeah, I mean, it is all to do with our hormone levels. I won't,
yeah,
bore it with the details, but it's an interesting time of life, both for men and women, because as we are stepping into ourselves and literally embracing all the things that we wish we'd done 20 years ago, um, men also have a hormonal change. And, you hear about the midlife crisis, blah, blah, blah. But this is actually a thing. They get softer as they get older. As their testosterone levels drop, they get less like it's all about me and more, oh, what do you mean you don't want to do that? What have I done? So it's a really interesting, if you've got a male-female relationship and you're in that kind of age, it's a really interesting dynamic that happens. And you go, wow, is this what men experience all the time, where they can just say no and then get on with their life?
I love it. Sarah, what piece of advice would you give somebody today that is maybe just feeling in a bit of a funk right now? They don't feel like they've got all their eggs in their basket. They're just like juggling a million things and just don't really know what that first action should be to get their life back on track. What would you give them as their first piece of advice?
Well, on the basis that I believe everybody's got the power to take responsibility for their own life, and that's what we help people do. I would say the best thing at any stage, if you've got overwhelm, you're not really quite sure where you're going, if there's an issue or a problem, it spins around in your head constantly. And you go, oh, should I, shouldn't I? Oh, and you've got that, and then you've got another thing, and then you've got this, and then you've got, how's that going to impact all these things? And my one piece of advice is to get out of your own head, whatever that means to you. So for me, it's the brain dump mind map. Is literally dump everything in my head onto paper so that I can see it in front of me rather than it spinning around in my head. Once you can see it in front of you, you engage your conscious mind as opposed to the subconscious and the amygdala and everything that stops you doing things because you're living in fear of the consequences. Once you can see it out in front of you, then you can make choices. Then you can decide, that's actually not important right now. That is important right now. I need to do that immediately. That's the thing that I really want to aim towards. What is the one step that I can take to take me towards that? But I personally feel like the first step is to get it out of your head because problems get bigger the more they spin in your head. The solutions don't come while they're in your head. So you've got to create that space by taking all the trash out onto the paper. Then you can choose what to put back in your head and what you're going to leave out, what's never going to see the light of day ever again. But it
I love that.
starts with creating the space and getting it out of your head onto something, talking to somebody, writing it down, voice notes, whatever it looks like, do that.
I love that. Great piece of advice. Sarah, where is the best place to connect with you in the online world?
Well, there's Southey Ways everywhere. Um, it literally is everywhere. I am on Instagram and LinkedIn. But if you just put the Southey Way or Sarah Southey, no H, please. Thank you. Thanks, mummy. Um, or Jenny, we're both on all the platforms, but you know, you can find us anywhere. We're
Fabulous.
absolute just spreading the starfish love everywhere we go.
You're everywhere. I will pop all of the links in the show notes below. And for
Thank
anyone
you.
that's listening to this today, please do grab yourself a copy of the book because it is just such a good one to just have in your pocket. Like I nearly called you Jenny then. Like Sarah was saying, it's one of those that you don't have to read from cover to cover. You can just pick it up. So it's one, if you're like myself, in that you can only do one book at a time, this one's really good that you can also read adjacent to another one. It works really well. Sarah, thank you so much for coming on the show today. It's been lovely to have you on here.
Thank you
Have,
very much for having me. It's been fun.
thank you. Have a beautiful rest of your day, everybody, and I will see you in the next episode.